Guess what has finally arrived? The TIRTIR Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. I know I'm a bit late to the party, but I'm still here. So excited about showing you this today. I'm gonna be applying this foundation, going through everything about it, how it applies, how much you need, what it actually looks like on the skin, and how well this lasts throughout the entire day. This is a viral foundation that lasts on your face for 72 hours. How crazy is that? So therefore, I think you need to stay put, watch this video and see how well this lasts for the day. Okay, so no makeup on, no skincare. We're actually gonna be using some of the skincare from TIRTIR as well. I don't know why I find it so difficult to say TIRTIR. It just doesn't come naturally to me. It's like TIRTIR, TIRTIR. I don't know how to say it. It just doesn't sound good when I say it. But they were kind enough to send me some of their products and I'm really excited about using this one as well. I'm super excited about the foundation, obviously, but I'm also really excited about this niacinamide because it's 20% niacinamide. My skin is kind of like all clean. I do have some concealer on my eyelids and a bit of kind of eye makeup and my brows are done, but everywhere else there's no makeup or skincare. So we're gonna get started with this. We're just gonna apply a little bit of this first, just a little, you know, pump a bit. I'm gonna let that sit. That's actually a really nice kind of like, it's not too fluid, it's like a little bit jelly. Not jelly, but like gel-like. I'm gonna be using that daily just because I wanna see how that works because I'm absolutely obsessed with niacinamide. Now that that has kind of like sunken into the skin, I mean, who is excited about trying this foundation? I'm not even mentioning it yet because I'm just gonna get this done so we can really sit down and talk about this foundation. This is my Road Barrier Restore Cream I'm using. I am just gonna smooth this over. Let's put a little bit of eye cream on. That's just my Drunk Elephant Ceramide AF. I just wanna make sure my skin is really nicely hydrated because I don't know what this is gonna be like on my skin because obviously I've not used it before. So let's get started. Like I said, I have finally arrived to the party. Obviously I'm last. So this is the TIRTIR Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. It's a mask shield enriched coverage. Let's talk about this for a second. Thankfully, they sent me a few different shades. So one of them matched and that was amazing. My shade is 30N Rich Honey. So my face is naturally a little bit paler than the rest of my body, so this color like matches perfectly. I have only tried this just literally there just to get the shade right. This is the first time I'm actually applying it as my foundation, and obviously we're gonna just go through the day and see how this actually lasts. But this is basically a viral foundation that apparently lasts for 72 hours on the skin. I mean, who wears makeup for 72 hours? Because as much as I want to show you this test and the wearability of it and see how long this, like how well this lasts on the skin, your girl is not about to start wearing makeup for 72 hours. That is just not happening. It's not me. So we're gonna do a full day and see how that works. It's meant to last for a long time. And what's really interesting about this is it gives you a mask-like effect. I mean, I don't know how I don't really want a mask-like effect. Like I want to have that flawless finish, but at the same time I want it to last and look natural. I mean, I'm not asking for much, am I? But yeah, this apparently gives you that really nice flawless finish to your skin, but it's lightweight. So you get that full coverage, but it looks natural on the skin apparently. I know, and it is infused with like certain powders in here apparently, like it's self-setting, so it sets itself. And apparently I've heard you can use this as concealer as well. So we're not actually going to be using a concealer at all for this. I'm purely just going to be using this. And I do also have the TIRTIR Mask Fit Makeup Fixer. We're going to see how this works as well. This has like, it's a long-lasting effect and it has a blurring effect. And you can actually use this before or after your kind of foundation. So I guess let's get started with this. So it comes in a compact like this, and it's actually really nice. I quite like it. And it has this little kind of sponge here. You can see that I've used it just a little bit just to check my color. And then this flips open and you've got this kind of like area here, which apparently you can use as your kind of palette. You know, sometimes you use the back of your hand, you kind of apply the foundation, you use the back of your hand. This is basically like your palette, which I think is a really good idea because it's just nice. It's kind of handy to have that in there. What you are meant to do, You're meant to kind of like get this, it's pretty comfortable as well, by the way, because some of them I feel like are not that comfortable when you have it sitting on your finger. So you're meant to kind of like pat in and then pat off the excess, like do what you usually do on the back of your hand, but on here, which I think is a really good idea. And then you can slowly pat onto the face. I've seen some videos where some people are kind of like dragging, and I guess that's more so to show you the coverage, the difference between what your skin looks like and the coverage. But I'm actually going to be applying this in the way that it says you should apply it. I might kind of do a quick swipe for you to see on the other side, but I want to be using this in the right way. I like the compact. It's sturdy. It's not bad quality. It's really good quality. This is actually a Korean brand, and they have so many different colors, and I'm just really grateful that they got in touch with me, asked if I wanted to try out their products, because honestly I have looked so many times online on Amazon and things, you know, to try and get their products over, but I was just so unsure about the shade, and I didn't want to kind of like waste money on buying a foundation and then it's not even the right shade. So I was just really grateful when they actually got in touch, because I was like, oh my god, like, you are amazing. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead. So I'm going to basically just pat this in. So it's a cushion foundation, obviously, like the name suggests. It doesn't, weirdly, it doesn't look like much transfers on here, but clearly it does, because I'm patting it into the sponge. And you know, I say this a lot myself anyway, like get the product, make sure you really pat the sponge into it before you apply it to your skin. So this is actually a really good thing that they're saying. Let's go on this side first. So I'm just gonna start, okay. The coverage, wow, this, I'm gonna take this over because I feel like whatever I've applied on there is a really good amount, but I can easily spread it over to the, wow, this just keeps going. This just literally keeps going. That's insane. I've not had to dip back in to this foundation. So the coverage is amazing. It does feel very lightweight on my skin. It looks like it's a liquid foundation when you apply it. So I'm going to just very carefully make sure I don't get this on my brows and just go onto my forehead now. I'm still, again, not applied any extra foundation here, by the way, guys. This is just that one, like those couple of pats that I did into the foundation. Okay, I need to see this close up. What's going on here? This really does give you a flawless finish. I am really surprised at this because I thought it was going to look really cakey. And it is so not. Like, it's really not at all. It's looking super natural but flawless. So if you want to obviously go ahead and add more coverage, like say if you struggle with acne, scarring, you can dip back in. But I literally have only applied what I've applied, like what you saw me apply. And that's it. And I cannot get over how this has made my skin just look like glass. I mean, I'm going to apply it as a concealer in a second, so we'll see how that goes. I literally am so surprised, honestly, guys. Have you guys tried this? Let me know in the comments box. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and now apply this as a concealer. I'm not going to use the sponge because I feel like I want to use a brush on my under eye area. So I'm going to use my Real Technique setting brush. And this is going to be interesting because I'm going to see how this works with like pressing it into the product. And I'm just kind of like buffing it onto that area there like we did with the sponge. And I'm now going to just kind of like press this in. See how this works as a concealer. I can't get over that. I cannot get over that. I've been able to use this as a concealer. Like, it's immediately giving me the coverage that I want. That's insane. You could use like an actual concealer brush for this, by the way, like, you know, the flat ones, if you wanted to. Like, I think you could actually apply this in the same way that, you know how you apply concealer and you do a stripe there, stripe there. I can't get over the fact that I've been able to use this as a concealer. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a little bit more product because I don't need it in from the sponge. I'm going to grab it from here because I feel like there's more than enough there. Okay, so impressed with this. I actually think, because they sent me a few shades, I actually think I could probably use a lighter shade on my under eyes, like, because this is like my skin color here. I usually go for a slightly brighter concealer. I am just really hoping that this doesn't look cakey to anyone, because to me it doesn't. Because in which case there's something wrong with my eyes. But I'm going to see what my husband thinks as well, actually, and see what he says. But I'm super, super impressed with that. I feel like I've got the coverage everywhere that I want, and I'm super, super happy. Like, I've actually not had to apply a lot at all. Now, it says that you don't really need to use a powder, but I crease like crazy on my under eyes and certain areas if I don't apply powder. So I'm going to apply powder. I've got my Makeup Forever HD setting powder in light banana and a different brush, which is also the Real Techniques setting brush. And I'm going to just dip into this powder. And I'm going to actually apply this on my under eyes first. I just want to see how this kind of sits on top of this, because I've not seen anywhere anyone have to use powder with this foundation. But I want to see like how this actually lasts all day and whether it does crease. Going forward, I think I would use a lighter color on my under eyes. I'm just not used to having the same shade all the way across. I really do like how it looks with powder. It doesn't look cakey at all. I'm just doing this kind of like whole triangle area here because I don't like it to be shiny around the nose either. I think I'm going to leave some areas with no powder, and I'm going to apply the powder to certain areas. So let me just press this in just on the T-zone, because that's the area that I really don't like it to be shiny. Be interesting to see how this kind of stays for the day, because apparently there's something in this foundation that helps to kind of absorb the oil so that you don't look oily. Let's just go around the smile lines here. I'm not too fussed about this outside area. There you go. I am so excited to see how this stays for the day. Now, I do want to kind of like just add a little bit of bronzer, because I would just not be me if I went out with no bronzer. So I'm just going to get my Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in Island Ting and my Refa 18 brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit here. Because ultimately you want to be able to use other products with this foundation if it really is that good, right? Like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's great, but I can't actually apply anything else on top of it. So let's see how this goes for the day, I guess. I'm interested to see. I'm sure there are like a million videos online now of this foundation, and clearly I'm the last one, but I'm still here. I caved, guys. I was like, is it really that much of a big deal? And I was like, it is, because everyone's talking about it and it's not stopping. I am so obsessed with my base right now. Oh my God. A foundation has not shocked me like this in a long time. I actually don't think any foundation has ever shocked me to this level. This is the first one. Okay, I've got my Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat in Iconic Nude. I really don't want a heavy lip, so I'm just gonna put some lip balm on. Oh my God, guys, even close up, my face is looking good. Like, my skin looks so good. I can't wait to hear what my husband thinks of this. I don't know how to explain this, but it's made my skin look really healthy. Like, it looks healthy. Like, it looks like my skin. This is not my skin. This looks healthy. So, okay, let's shake this setting spray now. Okay, I just want to spray this on Okay, just to make sure there are no obvious like droplets on my skin. That's a really good spray in the sense that you don't get droplets, and it's made my skin look like glass but with no scars. Because usually what happens is if I have that dewy finish to my skin doesn't look smooth. How does my skin look smooth? I'm going like this because I can see the light reflecting off and it's looking smooth. Oh my God, I've got on this side of my face way more acne scars, like pitted, like, you know, like those slight ice pick scars. So it's like a little bit of an indent, and they look so smooth in comparison to what they usually look. Guys, I really hope this lives up to the hype by the end of the day. So I would say, come with me for the day. I'm not gonna bore you with everything. I'm gonna show you clips throughout the day, like whatever I get up to, and let's see how this lasts. Okay, so I am heading to the mall right now, just going to get a coffee. So far, it's looking good. It's been a couple of hours and I'm really, really impressed. I actually am still shocked, by the way. Like, I can't get over it, but I'm gonna go get a coffee quickly and then we're gonna see what this is like once I've done a bit of shopping, had some coffee and cake, and yeah, we'll catch up then. Hey guys, so I've been working on my laptop for a few hours now. Well, actually quite a while. I've just been like busy with all sorts of stuff. I actually don't know where the time has gone. But I wanted to check in and just show you what my face looks like. I am still so shocked at the coverage. The coverage is pretty insane. I just can't get over the fact that I'm not wearing any concealer. And I haven't actually put a lot of powder on at all. I mean, I didn't put powder on anywhere other than my under eyes. You'll have to excuse the noise. I'm keeping it real here right now. But there's a bit of construction going on there. I didn't put any powder on anywhere other than under my eyes and just around kind of like my nose, from what I remember. And yeah, I've had it on the whole day now. So I'm gonna take Nico out for a walk now, come back, chill for the evening, watch a bit of TV, eat, and just try and relax. And then I'm gonna take my makeup off. But before I do, I'm gonna check in with you once more before the night or the day is over so that we can see, you know, just have a quick run through on what this looks like. I mean, I'm just outside on the balcony right now, just in front of the door. So I just wanted you to see what it looks like. I mean, it looks pretty good to me. It just looks like skin, right? I'm just super surprised at it. And I'm actually really excited to see it in the studio because this obviously looks, I think, still good here. But I'm interested to see what it looks like in the studio compared to what it looked like when I first applied it in the studio. So I'm actually excited to watch the video with you guys to see the difference. But I'm gonna go take him for a walk now because he's looking at me like, let's go. And I'll see you in a bit. What a day. So it's been a busy day. I've had a lot on. I've had a lot to do. Most of it sitting at my desk, kind of like getting on with editing and all kinds of stuff. I did go out to the mall just for a coffee date with husband. Had something to eat, just needed to go into one of the shops there, and that was it. Literally that sums up my day. The rest of it was all at home. Also took Nico for a walk earlier, and I think throughout the day I only had a few times where I could actually stop and have a look at my skin, and during those moments is when I think kind of like spoke to the camera, you know, just to kind of give you a rough update on how my face is looking. I am really, really impressed. Now, obviously, my skin is a little bit shiny, but let's talk about that. Throughout the day, I have not touched my skin one bit. I think there was the odd time where I had a bit of a kind of itch and I kind of scratched a little bit, but I didn't even look at it after to make sure it left kind of like, to make sure it didn't leave any kind of mark. So considering that, like, I don't have any kind of like fingerprint. You can't see a scratch or anything anywhere, you know, where like sometimes you can tell that you've just kind of like touched your foundation. Let's talk about how this looks. I'm super shocked at the coverage. Like, I'm still looking at myself like, what? If I had put a full coverage foundation on at the time I put it on, which was like morning time, by now, and this is like, what's the time now? It's 8:30. So by now, it would have looked horrendous. So considering how long I've had this on, and I did my makeup at like, I don't know, I think it was like 9:30 a.m. roughly. Considering I've had it on that long, if I had a normal full coverage foundation on for that long, it would have looked way worse than this. Like this, I don't even think looks bad. I think this actually still looks acceptable and kind of dewy in all the right places. But if you remember, I did actually apply a powder under my eyes and just kind of like along the T-zone. And I feel like that has stayed really well. But saying that, that's not saying that the rest of the face where I haven't applied powder hasn't stayed well. It's actually stayed on so well. The only difference is it's not like a super matte finish. So if you want a super matte finish, I would highly recommend using a powder all over. I'm gonna try this foundation on another time and actually try it with baking just to see how it actually sits on the face, because I would really be interested to see how this sits if I were to set it the way that I always set all of my foundations. Considering I used a brush to set my under eyes and anywhere else that I applied the powder, like the T-zone, I think it's lasted really well. And by the way, I have zero creasing. There was like zero creasing anywhere. Like my smile lines, there's no creasing there. There's no creasing anywhere. So I'm just like super shocked at how this has lasted. And the best way that I can put this is my skin looks like my skin. It just looks flawless, but my skin. I actually think I could get away with a slightly lighter shade, and I do have the option. So I think next time I'm going to try a lighter shade and just use the bronzer to warm myself up. Whereas today I feel like the shade that I've used kind of matches my neck really well. But then when I go ahead and use bronzer, it just warms it up a little bit too much. So I think I want to go for a slightly lighter shade just so that when I do warm my face up with bronzer, it isn't overly bronze. It doesn't look like I've just, you know, been sunburnt or anything. But I actually think this has lasted so well. I also asked my husband what he thought of my skin. I did tell him that I was using a new foundation, but he didn't know what or any of the details. But he said that my skin looks good, and he also said that it just looks like a really high quality foundation that you've used before. So I mean, obviously he doesn't know the ins and outs of things, like in terms of like the finish and things like that, like the differences that maybe you and I will probably look at. But you know, it's always a good idea to ask someone who doesn't actually know too much information about it, because they're still going to tell you like, oh, it looks a bit shiny, or it looks a bit cakey, or it looks a bit kind of like I can see that you've got foundation on. He was really surprised because he said your skin looks super clear, and he said it just looks like, it doesn't look like you have a lot on. So hearing that from my husband is obviously like a plus. I'm like, amazing, because you're going to tell me the truth, which he always does. But honestly, if I were to say like, is this foundation worth it? 100%. 100% worth it. I would spend money on this. I would actually go out and buy this. If anything, I would actually have this in my kit because I think it is such a good foundation. The crazy thing is that because it's like this viral foundation that everyone's using, and you know, you kind of look at it and you think, okay, you look at all these videos where they've just done one swipe and it's like, that's crazy coverage. You assume that it's going to be a really heavy cakey foundation, which is not, by the way. It's going to actually really surprise you, because I am really interested to now try this in so many different application kind of techniques. Like, I'm interested to try this by applying it in the way that I have today, but setting it with powder, like properly, like baking it. I'm interested to see what it looks like if I were to use a brush and really buff it into the skin for an even lighter finish. I'm interested to see what it would look like if I use it with a concealer, you know? So there's so many different ways that I want to try this now because I'm loving it that much, and I would 100% have this in my kit and use it on clients. It is that good. I think this is worth the money. If I were you, try and figure out what your shade is. And now that I've actually got a few of the shades, if I think back to when I actually looked at the color chart on the website, I initially thought this was going to be a little bit too dark for me, and I'm right. The one that I thought is going to be like too light for me is probably going to work well. So I actually think the color chart is quite accurate. Like, I think give it a go. If you really want to try this, all I'm telling you is putting the color matching aside, because that's always difficult no matter what the brand is. If you're buying online and you haven't got a store that you could physically go to, that's always going to be a difficult issue. Putting that aside, this is going to be worth your money. So I would highly recommend this. Link is in my description, so head on over. Like I mentioned when I was applying this, like, this is a foundation that has actually got lightweight powder and skincare substance to it. So it looks after your skin as you're wearing it, and also, like I said, it's got powder in there to help absorb the oils. By this point, I would be like a complete grease ball, like even more worse than this. Like this is actually really good. And I feel like a lot of people prefer more of a dewy finish anyway, so this is gonna work wonders for you. For me, I always prefer it a little bit more matte to this, but again, like I said, I didn't set this in the way that I would usually set this. So I'm gonna be using this again on a future video, so make sure you do stay tuned because I really wanna show you like what this looks like with my method of setting. And by the way, everything it claims to do is true. Like I didn't even know how to put that. It's true. Everything they say this does, it actually does it. Like it's anti-wrinkle, yes. It's brightening, yes. It's not dull at all on the skin. There's no smudging. I have scratched my face and I've not had any kind of smudging. Okay, I wanted to see what this was like because I haven't done this all day because I didn't need to, but if I kind of like just go like that, I'm not seeing any kind of like, I'm not seeing fingerprints. I'm not seeing like, oh, a whole load of foundation came off. I am getting a little bit off on my finger, but it's not crazy. It's not like, oh my God, there's just been a whole swipe of makeup. So what I'm trying to say is you can apply this as you usually do. When you apply it, the coverage is so much, you kind of assume it's a lot of product. And because of the fact that I just went in a couple of pats, and I could actually take that over all of my face. Subconsciously, you just think that, okay, that must be a lot of makeup then. That, you know, that because I'm able to just go like that and use it all over. But in actual fact, it's not. So I don't know how they've done this. You are using less product, but you have more coverage. It's just pretty insane. It's just kind of mind-blowing how they've done this. So this is not a fad. This is not a hype. This actually genuinely is that good. So go out and get yours. I think you're gonna like it, and I'm excited to show you different ways to use it. But if you have any questions, let me know. Now, don't forget that I do have an online publication called The Beauty Breakfast Club. It's an online community that we've put together, and it's growing and it's just amazing. We have so many newsletters going out, 3 newsletters a week that I write personally myself. It's basically an online magazine. That's the easiest way to put it. You have 2 options to subscribe. You've got one which is free, which gives you access to most of the site. The other one is paid, which basically is just equivalent to buying 1 coffee a month. And what you get with that is access to the entire site, as well as a chat room where me and you can chat, including all of the other paid subscribers. And that's the community that we've built, and it's growing, and it's just so nice because we get to ask each other questions. You get to ask me any questions that you have, I answer them, and everyone helps each other out. And it's actually a really nice beauty community, which I would love you guys to be part of. So please head on over and show your support. I also have another YouTube channel where I have a podcast that I host with my husband. It's all real talk. You're gonna love it. It's just raw, real, very relatable. So head on over and show your support there too. So I guess that's it for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this wear test. If you want to see any other kind of wear test, please do let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.